Hello and welcome to Op2 Mission 3 of the single-player modded added enemies campaign with the weapons mod applied. This is your host, your humble host, AncientxFreako. And right here we have the building of my mech. This is going to be actually my first attempt to win this mission. I must be really out of practice because I used to be really good at this. Yes, I get my ass kicked again. You're going to enjoy it though. It's a pretty funny ending. So anyway, this is what I end up with salvage. Pretty much, it's pretty much a mix. As you saw me do, I checked my ammunition first, and based on the ammunition, I decided to do a kind of a mix of missiles, and with my primary weapon being a Gauss rifle, because that has, at this point in the salvage, it has enough ammo to get through one mission comfortably. The thing you have to realize with the missions, if you don't know already, is that the more times you fail, when you fail, you start to run out of ammunition in MechWarrior 3. So each time you come back and try to do the mission again after failing, you have less ammunition available to you than what you started with the first time you tried. So I guess I forgot to mention that earlier when in one of the videos where I was talking about using the salvage glitch. I didn't use it yet at this point in the campaign. Haven't used it yet. I did use it to as an example to show you in the video I made about the salvage glitch. However, I didn't save that mission, so when I picked up, when I came back to this mission, I didn't have any of those salvage or ammo that I could have had. Basically, I ended up with what you see here. Basically, the most I have is Streak 6 ammunition, so I decided to go with Streak 6 for missiles and a Gauss rifle, and I believe some lasers. And once again, I'm loading Dominic's mech. I decided not to use one of the salvaged mechs. I believe I have access to another Orion for Dominic at this point in the missions. Managed to salvage another Orion. I could have given that to him, but I decided, you know what? I'm a badass. So I'm just going to give Dominic the champion, and I'm going to load him down with the same old AC-10, dual AC-10 loadout that I gave him on the last mission. And which would have been fine, in hindsight. It would have been just fine if I'd have made the right decisions, as you will see. So I'm loading up with heat sinks, because I have, that kind of loadout uses a fair amount of heat. And by the way, you're going to see more of the redone textures on this level, in this particular mission. I've been working on making the textures high def in the worlds, and I recently finished this world, this particular mission area, but I didn't finish it in time for this particular video. In the next, when I give you the video of of round 2 of this mission, you might see some extra stuff. But be on the lookout for, sharper textures of the world, the terrains. Oh, okay, and now I have to talk about salvage. At this point in the game, you've got to start being very discerning when it comes to salvage. You've got to be, you got to be careful of what you keep. I try to minimize what's in my MFPs. As you know, having played this game many times, you can only have 900 tons, and as the campaign progresses from here, you're going to get a lot more enemies, and as you have an increase in enemies, you have an increase in salvage for what they were carrying. So as you can see, I'm getting rid of what doesn't make sense to keep. I have a general rule. I like to try to keep at least 6 medium lasers. You know, you see the choices I'm making. These are minimums that I try to keep as far as weapons. And also, there are a few weapons that I am aware might not show up later on in the campaign. So if you get them now, keep them. For example, an AC-20 might be one of them. If you want to have 2 Ultra AC-20s, hold on to them right now. That Arrow 4 cluster ammunition right there. I don't think there's another spot in this particular version of the campaign where you will salvage any more Arrow 4 ammo. And I'm not even sure if there's even an Arrow 4 to be salvaged later on. But you have to be careful, because every time you either redo a mission or you go to the next mission, the game automatically screws with what you kept and what you didn't keep. So before you start every mission, you need to make sure that you downsize your inventory as far as possible. You see the armor levels I'm maintaining? That's about all you need, because the game has another glitch as you progress into the missions. The other glitch is that you replace, or you don't really lose a lot of armor. And as long as you have more than 50 or 60 tons of armor, you have plenty of armor to get through any particular mission. So normally, at this point, I like to target that Black Hawk and take care of him. But that's usually when I have LRMs loaded, and he pretty much gets wasted. And I'll order Dominic to go after the other two just to keep them busy. We've got a champion and a Shadowcat coming down. So now, I'd like to introduce you to slinging streak missiles, if you don't know what that means. Streak missiles in MechWarrior 3 have wonderful characteristics. They'll make a huge curve, as you can see right here. He's still targeted, and the advantage of doing that is that you can basically have the missiles circle around. Like, for example, right now the way that Black Hawk is pointed, if I was still going after him, I could point the well, before he turned around, I could have pointed the missiles to the left and taken out that left leg, but I did it anyway. Texture-wise, I've been redoing these vehicles, however, not for this mission. Hopefully, maybe you'll see an example of it in the next mission. Yes, slinging missiles in MechWarrior 3. I don't think any other game has that. It is the coolest thing in the world, and why wouldn't it be? Why would it be impossible? How can you not sling a missile? They have guidance systems. They have guidance. They can fly. Now, right here in this particular mission, this round 1 versus mission 3, I'm about to make my first big mistake. And that is not having Dominic reload his AC-10s. Instead of being patient, going back and ordering Dominic to refit his mech and get reloaded, I decided to charge forward. This was a mistake. Normally, if my lance mate is fully loaded, and if I'm fully loaded, then I don't give a crap. You know, I mean, if I had tons of LRMs loaded and, you know, I knew that I was pretty much had my enemies outgunned at this point, it wouldn't matter. because I could carry the full weight of the battle, pretty much. But with this basically balanced loadout, I really need my teammate to be at full capacity, full strength, full power. And seeing how he's pretty much out of AC-10s at this point, I'm going to be in trouble. However, I get through it. This isn't where I bite the dust. It just takes a long time, and this particular battle is prolonged further than it really should be. One of the things I did in the mod was I gave the harassers, those are harassers right there, I gave them speed. They're very speedy, and they buzz around because they're fast. And canonically in Battletech, as far as I know, I'm pretty sure I checked into it, they are supposed to be fast. So I gave them a lot of speed. And in the weapons mod, I also tried to give each vehicle their proper loadouts. When MechWarrior3 was first made, these vehicles didn't have their proper loadouts. The tanks, the Bulldog tanks, are supposed to have SRM4s. And one of my versions of the weapons mod had them loaded with SRM4s. And what happened was, because the vehicles, they don't have the same AI as the other characters in the game. So even if they don't have line of sight, they'll shoot their missiles anyway, because I think the code only allows for them to have one weapon, and however, you can load more than one weapon. So I think they have the AI that only deals with one weapon. So they treat multiple weapons like one weapon as far as their behavior goes. So when a Bulldog loaded with machine guns, an AC-2 or Ultra AC-2 and SRM-4 came at you and attacked you, it didn't matter if there was a hill in his way, he was firing all those weapons at once. And every time he fired the SRM-4s with the splash damage into a hill, the Bulldogs would get prematurely damaged by their own missiles. So I decided that was unacceptable. I had Bulldogs destroying themselves. It was ridiculous. So I took out the SRM-4s. But canonically, they're supposed to have SRM-4s. And not only that, but the vehicles, they don't lock missiles. They just shoot them blind, even into the hills. However, the Striker vehicle, its missiles, its fire points shoot out of a turret, which is usually has a line of sight over most hills in MechWarrior3. So I was able to put the missiles on the Strikers, the short-range missiles on the Strikers, and not have a problem. So right here I come, gonna get refitted. I've lost Dominic like a fool, because I didn't reload him and refit him, so that he could have helped me clear out that area a lot faster, a lot more efficiently. That was my first mistake, and I believe my second mistake is coming up. As you can see, the grass is a lot greener. That's one of the textural things that I've done. Basically, my HD texture refit from MechWarrior3 has to do with raising the contrast and basically readjusting the contrast and the brightness up or down, whichever produces a sharper texture. You'll notice I've done the roads and I've done the grass. The HD skins on the mechs were done a long time ago. I had a lot of fun with that, but it was long and tedious, let me tell you. I did the bushes to the right, those little brush plants. Those got done at this point. That's about it. The cliffs, the grass, basically the terrain and the roads that lead to the terrain got done. So now I've still got the Thor, the Black Hawk to go. So one of the things about MechWarrior 3 that is different from modern games like MechWarrior Living Legends and MechWarrior Online is torso rocking. Weapons fire rocks your torso. I mean, come on. You know, it's the laws of physics. You've got a torso that's basically an oversized swivel mount. It's got to have so much flexibility so that you can. You know what a battle mech torso does and what it's capable of. So naturally, it's going to rock when it gets hit. The PPCs will rock your torso in this game. The missiles will do it. All the ballistic weapons will do it. I even tried to get the lasers to do it, but that became an issue. And the reason it became an issue was because the gyro physics in MechWarrior 3 it's too sensitive. They kind of made a mistake with the gyro physics when they made the game. And I can't change that. So what ends up happening is if you take a weapon and apply too much, it's called impact force, which rocks the torso. If you apply too much of it to a weapon, when you have an enemy that loads too many of those weapons and you have too many of those weapons hit you at once, you'll end up getting a knockdown, which for lasers just doesn't make sense. You shouldn't be able to knock somebody down with a bunch of lasers. And that's what ended up happening. So I wanted to do it because MechWarrior 4 did it. MechWarrior 4 lasers they didn't really rock the torso, but they kind of nudged it, which I thought was really cool because it makes sense. I mean, yes, it's a light beam, but at the same time, it is a physical force, and it does damage. So why wouldn't it, give some kind of torso nudge, like that Puma just did with his PPCs. So here we are. We're getting close. Here come those helicopters. Another thing that I added to the weapons mod was the loadouts of the helicopters. I've tried many different loadouts with the helicopters, weapons loadouts. I used to have lasers, ER large lasers on them, which was pretty interesting. Because you'd be getting hit with the ER large laser before you could hear the sound of the helicopter, which was pretty cool. It was an interesting dynamic. Holy shit, where are those coming from, you'd say. Ah, the helicopters, here they come. Right now, I just don't know what to do. I know I gotta get rid of those choppers, though. Too bad I didn't get rid of all of them. Anyway, watch my armor. Look how low it's getting. I'm getting beat on by an AC-5, PPCs, machine guns, from all these enemies. Now we gotta get rid of this guy. Plus, these are LRM-5s coming out of these helicopters. Like 8 of them in a row, or something like that. So you look at the armor and you know I'm in trouble. Big trouble.
Critical hit. ER laser.
Big trouble.
Critical hit.
I just, I hung out too long. I hung around too long. And if I had only refitted Dominic, I would have had a partner out here with me. So here I am, hoping to make it. I know how low my armor is. So right now I'm going to walk behind the MFBs, trying to get out of range. Look at that. I mean, I'm lucky that laser didn't take me out. I think I was aware just now of more LRM-5s from the helicopter, or somewhere. And I was showing everybody my back armor. Now I think I'm out of range. And I pretty much am. because they won't fire at you unless they have line of sight. Now, some of the characters that some of the other characters fired at. Here's the helicopter. Here he comes. He's coming to get me. This is going to be it, folks. I hope you enjoyed this video. I know it was a little sporadic, but boom! Good night. Freako out, and I'll see you on the next one.